Right lads, back for another update, just finished pre-season, so Stuart, just going to come to you, just how the remaining pre-season go?
Mixed bag. After the last update, I think it was Coldstream, is that right? We played them and it was a good lesson for us, but we started the game really well and we took the lead. Dan scored a good header. Allan does really well down the side and got a good ball in the box, but we started really well. Our pressure was really good and our intensity was good. And I felt after they went and equalised, we kind of died a death a wee bit. I felt after they kind of got a hold of the game, that's where our boys need to kind of learn that a wee bit of game management, take the sting out of the game when you're under the cosh, let the ball run up for a throw in, try and get a couple of passes together. Overall, it was a really good learning, I think, for us. Our second goal was a great goal, and it's probably the youngest side that we had in the park all pre-season, so really good goal, but good learnings to take from it, certainly.
Then after Coldstream, it was obviously Livingston United.
Aye, again that night we were missing a lot of boys at holidays and things, which happens. We actually played really well, and it's the same old story as Friday past, but we couldn't score, just couldn't get the ball in the net. Generally, I felt we dominated the game and had really good spells of possession, but just couldn't score. We missed a number of good opportunities. That's what pre-season's for. And the foundations of the performance are there. We've got boys in important minutes. The work on back for holiday, and overall it was a good night's work, despite obviously being disappointed to lose the game 1-0.
It was a midweek fixture against Duns.
Aye, probably the most disappointing I think we've been. I think in every game we've been good for at least 60 minutes. First half it was a rough watch. I think. Don't get me wrong, I actually think we started quite well the first 10 minutes, and I can't remember if it was Rob or Gregor. We probably actually should score. It's a bit unlucky because it's taking the ball in the box and that, but after then they scored, it's a really poor goal from our part to concede. We just totally laid down, didn't play at all, and we struggled to connect any sort of passes together, keep any sort of meaningful possession, and we're really poor. Second half we changed shape. Well, actually we changed shape midway through the first half. Second half we're a lot better. I think we won the second half 1-0, is that right? Ali scores a good goal, and we're a lot better second half, but disappointment was probably the first half was the poorest we'd been, but taking on away for Duns, they're a good amateur team.
And then finally, Friday past, it was Dalkeith 20’s.
Yeah, again, similar to that lovely game we just touched upon. We played really well, and the chances that we create again are glorious. Like 2 or 3, maybe 4 in the game that we actually get cut across and nobody got on the end of it. We've put 2 over the bar, we've hit the post, we've hit the bar. So there's lots of opportunities that we probably need to take advantage of. The man sitting next to me probably scores a goal of season contender already, but in the end I felt a draw from the game was the least that we actually deserved from it. I thought overall our play was good, but these are the games, and when you get these opportunities you need to go and take them and kill teams.
Then we'll just go through each of you just to give us a sort of an overview and your thoughts of pre-season. Start with you, Adam.
Generally quite positive. Had a lot of new boys in the door and obviously lost a few faces from last season, and signed quite a few young boys this year. Took a few games to get up to speed, still trying to get used to playing as a whole squad, I'd say, but generally good minutes in the legs for the majority of boys, and yeah, positive.
Stuart?
Echo that. I think for me it's funny because last year we were kind of, I think we lost one game. We won a lot more games in pre-season, and then we lost our first 2 games in the season. So in terms of results, etc., throughout pre-season, you never actually know until you start the season. I think early on in pre-season we felt as coaches that we looked a lot fitter than the teams that we played. Early days, yeah, when we saw that, but I felt on Friday again till the 90th minute, albeit we did make a lot of changes. I thought we did look fit, we looked energetic, and we had boys breaking into boxes, etc. But a mixed bag probably. Generally I've played some nice stuff, scored some really nice goals. The only concern probably would be that we probably haven't scored enough for the chances that we created probably.
Finally, Dan.
Yeah, I think positive, like coming towards the end of pre-season, and you can slowly like see it all coming together. Like, I mean, I think every session, every game, we've had at least 4 or 5 signed boys missing, but as everyone we're coming to the season, I think everyone's just slowly coming together. We're starting to play, like everyone's like getting to know how we play, and I think it looks a lot more better, a lot more positive. Everyone looks a lot fitter, so I think it's going well.
Definitely. Just obviously you mentioned the signings. We've made another one through the week. It was Ewan Rennie.
Yeah, that was an important one to get through the door. At the end of last season, we'd offered Ewan terms and asked him to come in. He knows Adam well for university. He stays to the west, but during term time he's in Edinburgh, so we'd offered him terms here, and I think the travel was initially an issue. Thankfully, and the way it worked out is that we've brought a couple of boys in from town as well, so that's eased that issue. So I feel it's important that we have two goalkeepers to push each other and drive each other on. Ewan played against Livingston as a trialist, and he was brilliant. His talking was really good, kicked the ball well, come through the ball at his feet, and again we saw that on Friday. He played the first half, so he played the second half. So Ewan's a really good addition. It is his last year of 20s, but he trained with us for a period last year, so really good goalie. He's a good addition, and it's one that finally I can check off the list.
Obviously, Stuart, there's a familiar face sitting next to you, but there's a fresh one behind you. If is it a captain and vice captain announcement this evening?
Yeah, so start with Adam familiar. No, Adam will be our captain again this year. I've had Adam since he's 12, and we've got a good relationship, and he's a good captain. He leads in the right way. He's got the right ideals, and he's got every right to be in this position again this year. And this year we've named Dan Hall as our vice captain. Again, it's Dan's last year 20s, but I've been really impressed in the way that Dan's led throughout pre-season. His encouragement, even on Friday, where we do have a lot of young boys in the team to finish, and he's encouraging, he's positive, even as frustrating as they can get in football when you can't score. He's positive, he's encouraging his teammates, and out of training he wants the best for his teammates. So both big players for us last year, and I've got no doubt that they'll be the same for us this year. Both lads know how I want the boys to play, know my expectations of what you're like as a person around the group. So no, I'm delighted with them both being captains this year.
Adam, how does it feel to be back again?
I'm happy to be back. No, happy to be back. Been was with Jack Clark for 2 years. Delighted to have Dan now. Dan I've played with since 17s? Since 17s when he came back to Dunbar, and he's been brilliant for us all through 17s and 20s. So delighted to have him on board as well.
Dan, how does it feel to have a bit more responsibility this year?
I think a massive amount has changed, because I was one of the elder players last season anyway. So, and then before it was announced, I was one of the elder players anyway. So I think I already had to kind of lead by example. I think now I just have to go back a bit further, lead by example.
Obviously, Stuart, with 9 players in and 9 players out, it's been quite a lot of movement this year.
Aye, it's probably more than what we'd expected, to be honest, and it's not as easy as probably people think to bring in 9 bodies. At the start of the year we had targets, and we've got some of them, and as the course of pre-season went on, other boys became available, as we already touched upon in the announcements themselves. So we've obviously lost a few. We announced Harris, Kia, Rory and David today, and there'll be a couple more coming out in the next week or so. I wish those boys all the best. All of them have been brilliant, and I can't speak highly enough of them as people, but because it's university, we kind of knew it was on the radar. So as the boys touched upon earlier, you need to make plans for that, and when new boys do come in, they do take time to kind of settle, and I feel playing 7 games has probably helped that.
And obviously the league fixtures have come out, so Dan, we'll come to you first. We get your thoughts on the first 5 league games. We've got Pennycook, Haddington, Hutchie, Musselburgh, Edinburgh South.
I think it's probably not the worst, the hardest possible start we could get, but I mean, I think Pennycook, first game of the season, I think that's perfect. I think every time I play against Pennycook, it's just 2 teams trying to play football. It's always a good game every time we play them. Like last time we played them, obviously on here, with Ali scoring. But I think these are games you look forward to. Like, I think there's no better way than just going straight in, first 5 games, and then we know that we'll hopefully have an easier run of games if we can get past this stage. So if we can get past these first 5, it becomes easier for us.
Adam, come to you next for the first 5.
As we've already touched upon, we've had a lot of movement in the squad, so pre-season's been a bit fluctuating. But having Pennycook first game of the season shows us where we're really at come the start of the season, because I don't think anybody really knows until the competitive games start. Went unbeaten against Pennycook last season, so it's a game that none of us should be afraid of. It's the games that, as a player, even for the new boys, it's a game that you should want to play in. It was our biggest game last season on here, but it's another one where we go and test ourselves against what will be one of the better teams in the league.
Finally, Stuart.
Yeah, couldn't be much tougher. Well, it could have been if we played with Whitehill. So the start itself is difficult. I think we as a group probably won't know where we're at until we play the first 5. But you can say that about any season. I'm led to believe I think there's a lot of movement across the league anyway in players, to be honest. So you just never know. You never know. The only thing I would say is that I think Pennycook have still got a really strong core of their squad. They've got a lot of young boys in the team as well, like ourselves. And I particularly echo what Dan says. The last few times we've played Pennycook, it's all been a good game. No needle between the teams. Just 2 teams that want to go and play, and a lot of them at end-to-end games have always been exciting. I think first when we played 7-4. We beat them 4-1. It was a 1-1 draw at Pennycook last year, and obviously won here 3-2. But all the games are close, always good games of football. I'm looking forward to it. I think with it being that big a game, I think it's easier to get yourself up for it as well. And they'll be coming down here wanting to kind of put right last season as well, the 3-2 defeat. So difficult game, difficult start. All 5 will be tricky.
Just finally, lads, just for Adam and Dan, what are your both ambitions for the season?
Who first?
You know, just
I go. I think last season obviously we done really well. I'd say we overachieved what our ambition was. Like, our ambition was top 3 and a cup run. So we got both of that, finished second, and then beat Spartans. Obviously it's easy enough to say go and challenge and go top of the league, finish like first. But that all just depends, because we don't know what other teams are like this season. But I think same again, top 3 is definitely should be an ambition after last season. We've improved, we've gotten stronger as well as a team. I think once we get going, I think it'll be tough to stop us this season. So I think I'd go ambitious and say win the league, and obviously another cup run, another cup upset. I don't think we got quite as far in a cup as we would have liked. I thought we were strong last season. We should have definitely made a semi-final, so I think maybe a cup run, semi-final, final would always be nice.
Finally, Adam.
Yeah, I think last season was very positive in where we finished in the league. Our run after Christmas was brilliant, but I think as a player you should always want to go one better, and for the new boys coming in, you want to win the league every single season you play. Obviously some seasons you're not going to do it, but I think this is probably the best chance. Well, it's the only chance me and Dan have left of winning the league at 20s, so especially for the older boys it should be the goal this season to go and win the league, go and compete at the top again, because there is some very good teams in the league. We just don't really know what they'll be like yet.
Well, lads, thanks for the update and good luck for the season coming.